Las Vegas, this is NAB Show Live, produced by Broadcast Beat.
Ryan Salazar here with NAB Show Live. We've got a special guest. I've known him for a while, Phil Grossman. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. So talk about your Chernobyl project for folks that might not have heard of it. I'm sure they have, though.
Yeah. So it started 5 years ago as just a simple photography project, not thinking anything would come of it. Just personal, my wife jokes it was my midlife crisis. Instead of a Corvette, I went to Chernobyl. And just after that first trip, just sucked in by the story and the people and what had happened, and didn't think I'd go back. And the next thing I knew, I'm going back. I've now made 7 trips. I think we have over 70 hours of material, most of it 4K, 20,000 photos, working on a potential show this fall around it. And of course, the big news is the United Nations exhibition of my work that started yesterday in New York that runs through the end of the week as part of the 30th anniversary commemorative events for the Chernobyl accident.
Wow, and you certainly have received a lot of PR for this. We've known each other for a few years, and every NAB seems like it gets pumped up more and more and more. And it's got to feel good to create something that's coming to life.
Yeah, it's... It hasn't quite set in that the UN thing is going on yet. And when people walk up to me and go, "Oh, I know who you are," or, I introduce myself and I'm like, "Oh, I'm the guy who did the Chernobyl stuff." "Oh my God, that's you." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." So it's, and as I tell people, the whole reason I did it was about the story. So the more PR I get, it's less about me and more about the story. Although I would love to be a cinematographer the rest of my life and do that full time. But it's really about the story, because I think so many people have forgotten what's happened. I mean, there are people today, I get the younger kids if I say Chernobyl and they're not really sure what it is, but people our age, I say Chernobyl and they sort of look at you quizzically. And it's just, if we don't learn from the past, we're destined to repeat it. And, people will ask me, "Well, you must be anti-nuclear." I said, no, I'm anti-stupid. And if you look at what caused the accident, it was just, hubris of man. And so that's sort of the foundation of the story. And then just, it's also sort of in my film school. I'm not formally trained as a cinematographer. I've read a lot. I'm an engineer. And now this is just sort of in the film school. Now the release and everything going out is sort of the graduate part of film school for me.
Well, and so the exciting part of what you did, you see a lot of documentaries, and most of them are shot with just over-the-shoulder type cameras, and I've seen. Well, first off, you've got the most man hours in the reactor, which is pretty scary. So I'm sure I'm getting some sort of radioactive something right now from you. But so you've shot with drones.
Yep.
You've shot with all sorts of cameras.
Yeah, I think the one trip I had 6 different cameras with me. I'm a geek. I love technology, and I love cinematography, and the two things go together. And so I've gone with GH3, a Canon 5D, a Sony FS700, the GoPro on the DJI, and all these different cameras. And of course, I've learned it's really difficult to have lots and lots of different cameras. But I think I've used just about every major camera manufacturer. And for me, it's also been a testing ground, and I love it. And there hasn't been a trip yet that I haven't gone with some new piece of gear that I've never used. I was just in Chernobyl in December, and a day before I left, I received my Osmo. And so I played with it in the house for a little bit and played with it in the hotel when I got to Ukraine. And then it went into the reactor with me. And then, funny enough, 8 days after that trip, in fact, while I was on that trip, got permission for Fukushima. So now I've been to Fukushima as well, and starting to do a little bit of compare and contrast. And the camera technology has just gotten amazing. From my little Panasonic TM700 HD camera that 60p was amazing, to last trip FS7 recording RAW with Odyssey 7Q Plus. I mean, it's just, it's amazing, the technology.
Well, so go ahead and share your website or any other information so that way folks can see this.
Sure. So the project site is www.exploringthezone.com, all one word. Feel free to contact me on there, or on Twitter, follow me at PGP Images. Love to hear from people. I recently gave a presentation, sold-out presentation at the Denver Museum of Science and Nature on their IMAX screen. So I saw my images and video in an IMAX presentation, and I'm just looking for opportunities to kind of tell this story so that people don't forget it. So if there's anybody out there who's museum group wants a presentation, learn about the history of Chernobyl, how nuclear power works. It's sort of, as an engineer, just going and it's been a learning process, and that's really kind of been the most exciting thing about the project.
All right, well, Phil Grossman, thank you so much for spending some time with us here on NAB Show Live. Enjoy the rest of your 2016 NAB show.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, Ryan. Good to see you again.
You too.
Yep.